Hey, is the Badlands Monster Fanny Pack really worth all that money that they want for it? Hi, welcome back to LocaCarnivore. I'm your host as always, Nigel, the slightly better than average ninja. And today we're going to talk about Badlands Monster Fanny Pack. We want to see if this thing's really worth the money that they're asking for it, and they want quite a bit of money for it. So we want to make sure that it's a good pack. So let's get right into it. But before we do, quick reminder, we don't get any support right now from YouTube at all. We're not monetized. So if you would, go over to Patreon, the link's down in the description. Go to our Patreon. Please support us if you feel like that's a good thing to do. We would appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe. Make sure you hit that like button. And when you subscribe, hit that notification bell so that you'll get every video that we're doing and you won't miss out on a single thing. Also, if you have comments about the Monster Fanny Pack or anything else that's worthwhile, go down in there and take a look at that. We also have a companion article on our LocaCarnivore magazine. And if you wouldn't mind, it's about the Monster Fanny Pack. If you want to read the full thing, we have a link down there as well in the description. You can go and read the whole article. I think you'll enjoy that too. A little more information than what you get in the video. So let's get right into it now. So Badlands makes a lot of packs, but they make this Monster Fanny Pack, which is sort of a almost big enough to where you would need a regular backpack, like a day pack or something bigger than that. But it's definitely bigger than a little itty bitty fanny pack or a water hydration bladder pack or anything like that. So it gives you a good option, and we really liked it from that perspective. Previously, what we used to do was we put all our hunting gear in the pockets, jacket, pockets of the hunting vest, pockets of the pants, hand stuff on my belt, my hunting knife, ammo, extra gloves, tags, phone, knife, everything you could need for hunting. Extra clothing, insulation, that sort of stuff. Exam gloves, anything that you might need for hunting, we had that in there. It was just all over in my pockets and in the little pack that I had in my little orange vest. My orange hunting vest has a big kind of pouch in the back that you can use as sort of a backpack. But that situation really didn't work very well for one simple reason. I was trying to take too much stuff with too little ways of doing it. So it was all over, and like the ones in the stuff that I put in the cargo pants pockets on my hunting pants, they would slow my legs down. It was just a lot of extra drag. You put stuff in this pouch on the hunting vest, and while it's not too bad, I mean, you can carry a certain amount of stuff. You know, there's just a point where you could only put so much stuff in, and then if you had everything all stuffed in here, the pack would like really pull down in the back, and all the weight was on your shoulders. And yeah, I had a couple pockets on the orange vest, even a place for ammo and stuff like that. This is a really good orange vest, by the way, and I haven't found a duplicate, so I'm keeping this one. I have had this for decades. It's really done well for me. But at any rate, that system wasn't working good. So if I needed to carry more stuff, then I would go with a day pack. But the problem with the day pack is, if you've tried this before, it covers up all of the surface area on the back of your vest. So you're not orange anymore, or orange enough. And that can get you into some bad situations. First of all, you're not very visible. It could get you accidentally shot by another hunter. That's why we're wearing the vest, right? Second of all, if you're in a jurisdiction which has stipulations about the minimum surface area of orange that you have to have on, and that you can't obscure this in any way, shape, or form, anything significant, that backpack again is going to obscure that. Now, of course, you could put a rain fly, I guess, over the backpack, this bright orange. But that's just one more thing you got to go through to get at your stuff. So it's not very high speed. It's really high drag actually, and low speed. And so this system just wasn't working well. The other problem with the backpack, the big straps on the shoulders usually interfere with putting a rifle sling over there, so it's always sliding off or it doesn't sit right or whatever. So it's a pain. That's the basic facts of that. So we were diddy-bopping through a sporting goods store one day, a local store, and saw this hanging on the rack, and it was like, hey, that looks like it might actually be a pretty good little pack. It would do more than the pocket thing, and I could get a lot of the stuff out of the pockets and just in the pack, and it would be better because of the strap system that it has on it and the yoke system. I thought, hey, this is really minimal. It's not thickly padded or anything, so this should not interfere with putting a rifle sling on my shoulder. So it all looked pretty good. So I said, hey, what the heck? And then I looked at the price, and after I picked myself up off the floor, they got the emergency defibrillator, got my heart started again. Then I decided, well, okay, I'm going to go in on it, and it better be good. So that's what I did, and bought it. And I thought it was pretty good at first. So let's show you some of the pack. Basically, it's got a it's based on a belt, on a padded waist belt. And then they've added, like any other fanny pack, and then they've added a suspension system. And it's a 3-point system, one down the back, and then 2 suspenders in the front. And then you've got the big main pack here, which you can have stuff in. In fact, I've got an insulation garment. That's really handy to have. I've been snowshoeing lately with this, so that's why it's got all this stuff in it. At any rate, the pack is pretty big and pretty roomy. It's got this really neat composite material. I don't know what it's made out of. It's a space-age plastic thing. This bow that goes over the top, and what that does is it keeps the pack from sagging down, and it keeps it in nice shape and contoured to your body, and it helps pull the weight in and distribute it around on your hips, which I thought was a pretty good idea. It also has another pouch right on the back, which you can put stuff in. And then you've got 2 small pouches with zippers on either side. Compass, folding knife, extra magazine for a pistol. I tend to keep a sharpener for the hunting knife. And then you've got another pouch on each side right at the front of the belt. I'm going to put this on here and demonstrate it in a minute. And that gives you really good access to immediate action item things you might want, like your hunting knife or an extra set of gloves or whatever it might be, extra hat, you name it. It also has a lashing system, some ribbon type tie-off, so you can put another jacket under there, or a bivy bag, a rolled up foam cushion for when you're sitting on the snow or anywhere, keep you warm. Lots of possibilities there. And then there's another bow up on the top here, which you can stuff stuff underneath it. Which you can place stuff underneath here, whatever you care to. So it's pretty good on pouches and stuff. We liked that a lot about it. I liked that a lot about it. And it got all that stuff out of my pockets that I was carrying around mostly. And I put it in here. Plus, and of course, you can adjust everything. It's got a waist belt for adjustment. And let's go ahead and put this on here, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Got a waist belt. You can tighten that up. And it's got the suspenders here, and you can tighten those up right on the go. You can adjust them. Now, the back strap down the back, you can't adjust that readily, so you have to go into the pouch. I'll show you how that works in a minute. And then the yoke fits on here. The other pouch that it has is on the back of the yoke. And what they did with this was their idea, Badlands' idea, was, hey, we can have this little mesh bag that deploys out with a zipper down the middle, and you put your hydration bladder in that thing, so you don't have to have a separate hydration bladder deal. Now the only problem with this is, yeah, it's got a securing tab so you can secure it to the back of this, but it's kind of gym-cracked, the whole thing. This mesh is really lightweight. If you go through a heavy brush or something, it's going to get caught. It's probably going to snag, even get torn. Didn't like that at all. Unless you secure it to this, it's going to flap around when you walk, or if you have to run or do anything extreme movements, it's going to flap around. So that's not a good idea. And then if it's cold out, below freezing, it doesn't insulate the water bag, the bladder at all for the hydration system. So the water's going to freeze. So for people that hunt in cold areas like I do, it's not really the best idea. I mean, these guys at Badlands, I think they should know a little better than that they need to do something about that. But at any rate, and then when you put it in here, it makes this kind of lumpy thing here, which it doesn't really wear on your back, but it's not the best. And it's got little places here for the hoses to come out for your hydration bladder. So the main thing we wanted to make sure that we didn't have to obscure our orange vest. So we thought this was a really good idea from that perspective. All right, so here you go. I've got the Badlands Monster Fanny Pack on top of my orange hunting vest. And as you can see, it doesn't obscure the vest to any great degree. You got a couple straps here and there. So it does what it was supposed to do for me. It does what it's supposed to do. It gives me a way to carry a bunch of extra stuff, but without having to obscure that vest. Now the one thing I did find is the shoulder yoke here has got some problems. First of all, it's actually really slippery, and I had to change out to a different rifle sling for my hunting rifle so that it wouldn't slide off, because it would just slide right off. I had a nylon sling, just a straight nylon web sling, and it would just keep sliding off. So I had to go to one that had some grippy stuff on the back, and that solved that problem pretty well. There's another problem with this pack that I really don't like. First of all, it's nice that you can adjust the front straps for height and everything, and that's pretty good. But the problem you get into is with the back strap. And to adjust this, you have to go all the way into the other pouch, the main pouch, and you have to pull the thing through, and there's a clasp type buckle right here that you have to undo, and then adjust this. So it's positive, it locks it down, that's a good part of it, but the problem is, in order to get the right fit, you have to take the pack off, adjust it, put it back on, see if it's right, go, maybe not, and then get back in here and redo this all the time. And so you can't set this pack up with the weight in it and then still go back in. You have to take all your stuff out, put it back in, or some of it out, in order to get the proper ride height for this thing on your hips. So didn't like that much at all. Also, the yoke itself, even though it looks like it's well designed, in reality it's not. The main problem is with this 3-point system is the yoke will kind of pucker in the back if you don't get the adjustment right, or it'll hit you in the back of the neck instead of distribute the weight on the shoulders. Frankly, what I think they should have done was go with a 4-point suspension system like you get on military web gear, load-bearing equipment, and that way this would be sort of an H piece instead of a Y piece, or a flattened out Y, with 2 straps going down here. And it would be nice if you could then just adjust them from the outside instead of having this gym crack thing where you got to go into the pack to adjust the main strap. Didn't like that at all. So what did we like about the pack? Well, it fits nice, and it really is comfortable. Once you get it adjusted, you can carry a lot of weight, and like I said, it's very comfortable. It centers everything on the hips. The padding is correct. There's no sharp points. There's no hot spots that occur. It doesn't move around. It doesn't chafe you. So it's very good in that respect. It's light. This thing is stupid light. Despite that, it's actually very well made. The fabric seems to be very durable. Taking it out on one hunt at the end of the last elk season. And then we've been snowshoeing with it. I've been snowshoeing with it for a few months since then. And it's gone through brush and pine trees, things like that. And it hasn't pilled up, it hasn't snagged. So it's very good for that. It's tough but light. It has great capacity. I mean, this main pack in the back, you can carry a whole bunch of stuff. And when you go with the little, the zippers are pretty good. And then when you go with all the little pouches on it, you've got quite a bit of room here to carry most everything you'd need if you're moving fast. You could carry a bivvy. There's a lot of things you could do. You could even overnight with this thing if you're really good at going low tech, really high speed stuff, and you know how to do everything with that minimal equipment. I don't think it would be a good idea to go out in extremely cold weather and try to overnight or multi-night with this thing. You'd be an extraordinary person, Army Ranger, somebody like that who's trained in winter warfare, who could get by without a lot of stuff. So, but it could be done. The other thing we liked is it really interfaces well with all the other gear we have. I've got a chest rig panel that I set up for both hunting and bear country, hiking and snowshoeing stuff. And I can carry that for, and we'll show you that in a later video, the build on that. But it doesn't get in the way of this pack. It really interfaces really well. All the straps are out of the way. So it goes well with other gear. And it's flexible enough you can expand and contract the adjustments so it'll fit over heavy winter clothing. It'll fit over lightweight summer clothing. So it's versatile in that sense. Now, what did we not like about this monster fanny pack from Badlands? Well, first of all, the price. It's stupid expensive, but it seems to do the job. So it's one of those things of, well, you got to pay the money. You got to pay to play, which is fine. The one thing we didn't really like is this Jim Crack hydration pouch that folds out of this yoke thing. I explained it to you already. It doesn't seem to be very durable. It just doesn't, and it's small too, so you're carrying a really small hydration pack. You might be carrying a light pack with low gear load, but you might have to carry a lot of water, in which case you're going to need a separate backpack for that, a separate hydration pack, and slide it in underneath this thing, which is what I do. Yeah, there's more straps and stuff running around on your chest and things, but those straps are really minimal. They don't interfere with anything very much. And one thing we didn't like about it is it's going to be hard to show you here, but let me back this little pack off here. And under here, there's a bit of nylon ribbon that they sewed to this thing. I don't know if you can see that. My finger's sticking through it. They say that's a holster loop for you to attach a holster. Well, I tried a couple different things that I've got. Nothing worked with this thing. There's just not enough room under there. And on top of that, it puts it right in front on your hip. It's totally in the wrong spot. Completely interferes with everything else. So forget the holster thing. That's why I've got the chest rig. Works a lot better. And the other thing, you have to go to the chest rig or a chest holster, because this thing's got a lot of surface area on your waist. And it's just going to really get in the way. And if you cinch it down hard, it's going to dig the holster in if you're wearing a hip holster. And you're not going to be very comfortable there at all. So you're definitely going to have to go to the chest rig, even with this, is what I would recommend. Now, the other problem we had with this thing that I found was areas to attach other gear. Now, they give you one, right on the back here, one little ribbon of molly strip. And it's vertical too, so you can't hang anything that way. It's all got to go sideways. And it's really minimal. And I get the ethos of the bag. It's supposed to be a minimalist bag. But give us some more molly around here, would you, so that we can hang some other stuff on it. I mean, yeah, these straps on the bottom and this strap on the top, it's okay, but it doesn't substitute for molly when you really want to weld something to it, like an extra medical pouch or whatever it might be. That would really help a long way. And then the big problem I had was there's no way to attach anything up here. There's not a D-ring or some molly on this yoke or something, because what I wanted to be able to do was hang my snowshoes from it, like that. If I want to take them off, like I run into a spot down low or something before I start an ascent that I don't need the snowshoes on, I'd like to not have to carry these some other separate way. I'd like to be able to just lash into the top here and then molly them or lash them in or whatever I need to do onto the base part of the pack. Can't do that because they didn't give you a D-ring or anything really to go off that. So that cuts the versatility a lot, and I think it would work just fine for light stuff like I said, snowshoes or anything that's kind of long. You could suspend a spotting scope back there or something. Lots of possibilities, but no D-rings, no attach points. Can't do anything about it, right? So overall, what do we think about the Badlands Monster Fanny Pack? Well, first of all, it's expensive. It's just plain expensive. So you're going to have to just suck it up and spend the money if you want this kind of a pack. And it does a lot of stuff that I think a lot of competitor packs really don't. It's well made, and overall, it's pretty versatile. Goes with most everything else we're using, and really helps carry a load, but it doesn't get in your way. So we like that about it. Overall, we give it a qualified thumbs up. The downsides, we already explained those to you, but the price and the lack of attached stuff and on and on and on. But it does the basic job that I wanted it to do. It lets me carry extra stuff, gets all the crap I had in my pockets out of my pockets and into the pack, and doesn't block off my orange vest. And it's comfortable. So it's a good pack. You'd have to be the judge as to whether or not it's worth the money for you to spend on this kind of a pack. But there you go. That's our opinion.